2D. Me too. No, but thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to hopefully get better at wrapping the forms and stuff. I mean, like, that's the whole thing about this, is layered upon layer upon layer upon layer of wrapping forms that slowly define the shape and start to make it hopefully pop. And ow, that's really loud. Anyways, yeah, hopefully make it read as more 3D. Not that that's something that's totally necessary, but that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I did this before, I'll do it again. So let me just show you an example of something that you can do in your work. So like here, let me make this a bit brighter. I did this the other day. So let's look at this form, right? So this right here is a form, okay? And this is a line that folds under, you know, and then so that's the bottom of it. That's also the bottom of it right in here. So you got one form here, another form here for the wrinkles, it kind of breaks off there, and another one. So how it works is, this is the part that's towards us, this flat line here. So this part's facing us, this is where the form peaks at us, okay? So what I do is, in my mind, I'm wrapping like this around the form like it's 3D, like that. So when I zoom into it, you see right here how I just have these lines curving around it. And when I go into the image, that's exactly how I'm going to render it. So have it peek towards me and then wrap back around the side to wrap around this shape in the forehead. So curling away from me. So like this. You know, you see these forms right here. Now, for instance, if the light were dead on, like in this dead on space in the middle that I'm talking about, you know, like I can do this. So keep in mind that I just talked about, you know, that wrapping form. Now, what I can do is, since it peaks here, like I said, I just go highlight here. You know, let's just leave that there, whatever, it looks stupid. So these are all midtones, you know, look at these midtones here. What I'm going to do is take my soft round, turn it to 50% opacity, and I'm going to select a lighter color and just start carving into the form. So I carve in around here and make a little shape, and then I turn my opacity to 30% and just blend out, and I select another color in between and I blend back. So then I have that, and then I do it again. So over here, do it 30%, go back. It's easier to do this with like monster characters and stuff, and when you're doing this kind of thing, it makes it look more like, you know, just three-dimensional in general. So I'm wrapping it over and over. It's easier to do this with like monster characters and stuff, and when you're doing this kind of thing, it makes it look more like, you know, just three-dimensional in general. So I'm wrapping it over and over and over in the skin, and you know, I'll cross it again because you know, that's just what happens in that kind of gross leathery skin, is it keeps on cross-hatching in the skin. So as you can see, I'm slowly wrapping this form over and over like that, and it's creating this kind of receding depth with the lighting I have. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much how I do everything in the image. So there's no like flat base forms in this. You know, like I'm wrapping everything. Like I wrap every single one of the brush strokes around the form. None of it's like flat or random. So that's how I think about this when I'm doing it, and that's how I think about the lighting and everything. So like I did on here, you know, with the red, if the lighting were coming in from this side, let me mark it for you. Well, the lighting is coming in from that side, but if I wanted to push it more, so like I have it over here, and I have it more directly, you know, on the side. So I have these forms that are curving out towards that direction over here. You know, all of these are curving towards that, and this might catch some too along the ridge. And pretty much I do the same exact thing, is I just wrap, you know, with the mid-tone there, I just wrap the lights around it. So I mean, it's trying to think about it in simple terms, like, okay, now the light's coming from this direction, and I know what shape that is because I've defined it for myself. So now I can go in and do this, bring it down to 30% opacity, start blending, select the color close to it, blend back, do it again, 50% opacity stroke, 30% opacity, and then blend back. You know, so I'm slowly bringing in this light. Or you can just go in and do all the sharp marks and then blend them. See what I'm saying? So we've turned that on and off. You know what I mean? It just creates that formed look, the three-dimensional kind of thing. And as you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it over and over and over on the image, it starts to look more three-dimensional. So I mean, you just have to treat everything as shapes. Like, it becomes sort of like a formulaic thing. And the other part of that same idea is that, like, you really only should go super small with those kind of wrapping shapes when you're close to the focus. So the focus is like the eyes and the face, the nose, the mouth, all that area right in here. And as you get away, you can kind of lose it. So like over here, there's not a lot going on. Like, you know, there's just not a lot going on. Like, that's all fuzzy and whatever. So I'm not going to sharpen everything in this because there's no point. You know, I'd be doing myself a disservice if I sharpened everything like I did in the face. Because, you know, with those shapes in the background being as fuzzy as they are, I mean, like, see how over here, over here I have this edge of the shoulder. So like this edge of the shoulder, there's no line. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't even a line, like, it's just fuzzy. Like, there's no distinct marks or anything, because I don't want you to look over there. You know, I don't want you to see that. Like, it's not my focus. You know, the point of this image isn't for you to look at the shoulder, it's for you to see everything and see the face mainly. So over here I have, you know, these receding levels of sharpness. So that's really fuzzy. And then in front of that is the edge of the fur, which will be slightly less fuzzy. I haven't worked on it as much yet. And then I have the ear, which is again slightly less fuzzy. And then I get closer to the face, and then that's even less. So it's these layers, you know, these, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, that creates the depth and, you know, really pushes you towards the center. It's just something to keep in mind. So just forms, depth, focus, contrast, shape, contrast of soft versus hard, all that stuff will go a long way in selling any sort of realism in your piece. Oh, by the way, I'm starting to realize that, you know, for a lot of people, the black screen is pretty much, it might just be your connection. Because when you guys said you had black screens in the chat, I didn't get one, and I have the browser open with the live stream. I know that on my end, as I'm working on this, nothing really cuts out. So I guess it could just be that it takes a lot to run the live stream, I guess, you know, on your browser. But I really am not smart, so don't listen to me. I'm guessing that once you soften the focus for a certain distance, everything at that distance should be softened. Yeah, unless there's something else going on where like over here I have the highlight coming in, you know, on the fur over here. So since I have this like big chunk of lined fur, you know, just because it has, you know, that highlight on it, it's automatically going to catch way more than this, because the reason that is that's what you see. So think about like when you're looking at somebody at night and maybe there's headlights are on or something like that, or just like a flashlight on the side of their face in total darkness. You know, you'll see that side first because that's where your eye is drawn, and automatically because of that, even if you're not focused on it, it'll be a lot sharper than the shadow side of the face, which often just fades off into whatever background you have. Hold on. But yeah, I mean, even though it's the same distance, it's not the same as far as lighting and all that, so it's not necessarily the same kind of fuzziness. It's still fuzzy because you don't want it to be your main focus, but it's not as fuzzy, you know, like you still want to bring it into the face, but you don't want to make it as soft as the background because it doesn't make sense. That's not how we see things. So it's more about just like how do you see it, and then trying to find a good balance there. But yeah, the live stream's going to start in, or the critique stream's going to start in 15 minutes for everybody who's here. I've just been doing this early because I've been working on this guy, and I figured I might as well live stream it because, you know, I don't have any contract connected to it. And yeah. So while we're on this, oh, there's actually another question. With some brushes I can use a number of keys to change the opacity, which is great, but other brushes use those keys to change the flow. How can I change this to opacity? I actually don't know. That never really bothered me. I just change it myself. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but I know what you're talking about. It just, you know, that never really bothers me. Question, how do you get all those different hues and values in the skin you have? Also, it froze earlier when you were talking. Do you have opacity set on your brush? Only a little bit, like 50% to 30%, depending on like what I'm doing, and then 100% when I'm defining edges. Like for instance, if I go in and I'm doing something so sharp as like the nose, like I'll go in with 100% soft round brush and just start defining that edge. Because that's the thing, is it needs to be defined because it's in such a focused area of the face, and things like that will make it look more three-dimensional. Like in the main areas of focus you can go that sharp, you know, in certain areas, but you can't go that sharp everywhere. So that's why I will adjust opacities to make sure that I'm, you know, I'm treating the opacity like how I'm moving in. So like, you know, 100% opacity in here, like in the main face area, like right in here when I need to define edges, and then like I said, it all goes out from there, you know, and I can start to do the little fades and stuff like that. Why soft round and not hard round? Because nothing's really that hard. in the image, you know, like, and nothing's really ever that hard. I mean, like, look at this edge right here. I mean, this edge on the nose that I just did, you know, that's a pretty hard edge. I just did it with a smaller, soft round. You know what I mean? It's like I don't necessarily need to ever use the hard round brush because nothing's really like that, you know, when you're looking at something in real life. So it's kind of useless for me to use it, you know. Like my hard round substitute is basically 100% opacity soft round with a small brush. And all the hues and values, I tend to tone it back a bit, and basically, like, I'll do, like, this picture was all over the place. Like, I was really sick when I started this, so I did this version of it, which is super crappy because, like, I had like flu stuff going on, so I did this version of it and it sucked. And like I was so sick and just looking at it, and because, you know, like, you do things without even thinking when you're working, when you're, you know, like sitting in bed all, you know, all day, and then you want to try and paint and everything sucks. But yeah, I did this, and then I was like, oh no, what am I doing? It's like I forgot everything I knew all of a sudden. That just happens whenever I get sick and I try and work. I just forget everything I know. So basically, something I do to, like, you know, correct myself, because I came back into it, and I basically, like, will go in with color layers. So I use color layers to bring it back down, to bring the saturation back down, you know, and then I'll build up to some level of that eventually, and I'll push the colors more in the eyes and the nose and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like, the hue, I toned it back so that I could play with contrast. Like, basically, in the image right now, it's pretty desaturated, so I'm gonna bring the saturation into the eye. Like, this is more orange, you know, it's more saturated than pretty much anything else in the image. Then I have some red tones in the face that are more saturated. So because everything else is desaturated, I will just, with that tool, along with all the focus stuff I was talking about, I'll bring the focus right into the face. So using saturation versus desaturation, hard versus soft, you know, dark versus light. Like, I can take a color layer, I can make a color layer, I just made one, and you know, like, I can go into the eye here. If I think it's too desaturated, you know, I'll select, like I can take a color layer, I can make a color layer, I just made one, and you know, like, I can go into the eye here. If I think it's too desaturated, you know, I'll select, like, you know, open up color window and start looking around in the color picker for some dull gray, whatever, and then turn my brush to like 30-40% opacity, and then just start brushing it in and lose that color in the eye. You know what I mean? So, like, you can do stuff like that, and as long as your values read pretty well, it shouldn't look weird. So, like, little adjustments like that I make sometimes. Like, I did that a lot in the skin and in the fur. Just blanket colors, so, like, the fur was like a gray, burgundy kind of color. Yeah, and I just, like, move that around. So, yeah. I'm gonna call Dan in now, and then I'm gonna do this for another 10 minutes, get off, and come back for the critique live stream. Oh, that's so loud.
Oh, hi.
Hey. Hey guys, how is Dan's sound? Is he loud?
Hello, 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 hi. Check. Well, very quiet, well. Hey guys. Hey John. How's everybody doing? to Critters. I'm looking forward to Critters.
How is that low? I mean, how is that low?
Check.
How is that? Is that better?
Check. Hello.
Again.
Hello. Check.
Hey, my
It's
body
wrong.
is a beautiful place.
Wrong tongue ring. Hello? Come, lady. I'm butterfly sugar, baby. Is it? Hello? My way. Wait.
Alright, now you can stop.
It's my way. Alright, cool.
Thank God. So how you doing?
Not good. Just fixing some scans I took earlier, and yeah, looking forward to Critters.
Yeah, Critters is coming up. Man, I actually want to do paintovers, so I want to just...
It's gonna be good. Guys, I'll probably be streaming while Dave's running the Critters thing on his stream. We're gonna be doing the crits just on his though. I'm gonna be doing some other work on mine. It'll be up, but I won't be fielding questions from my chat. So everything Critters related is gonna be on this channel that Dave's streaming on right now.
Yeah, Dan just doesn't have time to do both today.
Yeah. So I gotta do the other work I have going on while Critters is going on. I'll still be looking at your work and talking about it. And I've yet to decide if should I do crits after my stream tonight? If we're doing a long form mega crit earlier in the day?
I don't know.
I probably won't. We'll figure it out. We'll see how much time I have tonight. Basically, I'm gonna start streaming now. Dave's gonna be doing the Critters, and I'm gonna keep streaming for the rest of the day. That's my plan, at least. So we'll see.
And you guys, you can't hate us for Critters. You can't. I'm sorry.
Can't hit it.
It was a passionate moment where we just...
And all of a sudden you have to go to the bathroom, and there's nowhere to pull over, and you start getting incredible stomach pain, and it becomes frantic and desperate. That's what it's like when me and Dave come up with puns like Critters. And you have to go to the bathroom, and there's nowhere to pull over, and you start getting incredible stomach pain, and it becomes frantic and desperate. That's what it's like when me and Dave come up with puns like Critters. And you have to find a way to get them out as soon as possible before we explode.
Basically. Now nobody else can do it. That's how I legitimize it.
I want to thank everyone who was nice enough to leave me a comment on my blog with that essay I put up last night. I typed it out in a moment of angered passion. So thank you for supporting that. I appreciated it.
If you don't know, you can go to crimsondaggers.com, and the link is in the links. It's Dan's little article with art history on tracing and stuff.
Yeah, it's an educated defense against the tracing myth, and we don't want to talk about it on the streams from now on because we're sick of dealing with it, how stupid and obvious it is. So from now on, if it comes up, or if anyone's trolling the chat talking about it, we're just going to drop a link to this little fact I wrote up about tracing and why it's bad. And that's going to be how we deal with it from now on, so.
Yep. So no more of those discussions because we're sick of it.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a positive stream for learning, and the more it becomes about arguing about lame things and stuff like that, the more we all suffer as a result. That was huge. Yeah, when I start writing, I tend to go on. It's hard for me to stop.
But there's a lot of good points there.
Yeah, I just wanted to address every single thing that I could possibly think of that was relevant to the topic, so people wouldn't be like, well, what about this? What about that? Like, that's what I'm going to avoid.
Wonder what Dave torrents. Yeah, I got the torrent thing open. It's literally the only way to find half of the metal bands that I like.
Yeah, you can't say it's illegal for Dave to do that if they don't sell CDs in the first place.
Yeah, they really don't. Like, has anybody ever tried to find like any sort of like thrash metal bands? It's like the only thing you ever find is like thrash metal packs on torrent sites. It's like the only way I find the old music. Otherwise, I have to go onto YouTube and download them all.
It's like certain electronic artists I like don't have CDs and they're not on iTunes, and if something's not on iTunes, you basically can't buy it. So it's like, you gotta download it, there's just no option.
Yeah, you gotta do something if you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
YouTube converters, I guess. That's the only way.
No. What's the maximum on those things anyway? Because I wanted to start converting those like 2-hour mixes I've been listening to.
I don't know.
I
don't think it matters.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if they had a maximum size.
Yeah. So little things. When I'm looking around my image, I'm like, oh hey, look at this area. There's no focus over here.
Yeah.
There's no focus in this cheekbone. It's time to bring focus to it.
No focus.
Focus.
I'm just gonna launch my stream right now and just keep it up. But again, I'm not answering questions from my chat. I won't even be looking at it.
So, let me go on to Twitter, and I'm gonna post about the Critters live stream right now. And hopefully you guys have images ready. Crimson Daggers Critters stream starting now. And then I gotta take that and go everywhere else on the internet with it.
Yes, you do.
No, but I'm gonna sign off and I'll be right back, and we'll be starting the crit stream. So yeah, I'll see you guys in just a second.
Yep.